It's only June, but I feel like I've lived at least 5 years in these past 6 months. Let's just do a quick run through what happened. I had 2 dental surgeries. Why 2? Because we did one side and the other side. I gave myself a couple months in between to heal so that I could enjoy some of the things that I missed during my recovery process. That was a big financial hit that I was not necessarily prepared to deal with. So around that time, I had to figure out how I was going to take care of things. I was doing okay to cover bills and stuff, but because this was a brand new big bill that I was going to have to take care of, I needed money quick. And if you are familiar with the industry, acting, unless you're a big name, which I am not all of us are doing well. And I'm one of those who are not doing the best when it comes to booking stuff. I'm having some auditions here and there. That's amazing and I'm super grateful, but it's very scarce for a lot of us. And that's okay because I do feel like I have the time now to focus on a lot of the other things I do want to pursue, and I do want to invest time and energy and some money in. I can do that while this is still figuring itself out. I can also create my own stuff with my friends, which I have been doing, and that's been amazing. What I started figuring out was I have been doing TaskRabbit stuff. I have a very natural skill in organizing and getting my life and other people's lives together. So I started offering organizing services, and I have been booking. I have been making really good money, and that makes me really happy. I'm even considering making it a full-fledged business and hiring organizers under me. We'll see where that goes. I don't know. Idea's still up in the air. But while I've been doing that, I've also been working on my coaching business, trying to solidify my coaching offers, trying to create offers for different phases and different money tiers. I feel like everybody deserves access to a coach, and I feel like the only people who can afford access right now are those who are wealthy already. And although we all could use services from a coach, I think it should be accessible to everybody, especially those who need it the most, which are usually the ones who are struggling the most. So I've been working on trying to divvy that up so that those who are either beginning in their journey or who don't necessarily have the funds yet to do a really big journey, I'm working on making it so they have access to different things and they can go at their own pace and they can work with me in their own pace, in their own way. I'm trying to do a bunch of different things that are gonna make it good for everybody involved. I want everybody to receive what they're able to receive or what's needed for them to grow in the way that they need to grow. Along with the dental surgery, I will say that having the dental surgery did teach me how to take care of myself because I was forced to relax and chill. That really did teach me a lot of giving myself grace, being patient with myself, allowing myself to recover and take the time that I need. Even though I was taking the time to heal because of recovering from my dental surgery, during that time, I was shown how to take care of myself. I was shown what I need to work on when it comes to that, and then what I'm doing well at. I was shown that I deserve to relax and heal and rest, and I got the chance to work on some things while I did take the time off. Yes, I got a lot of rest time, but I did get to work on some things. I did get to get back into reading, which reading wasn't really a thing that I was off. Life got kind of in the way. And so I struggled sometimes to make time for reading, but that allowed me to get really back into it. And then with the dental surgery, I also struggled with my weight because I did not know how to eat during that time. I ate a lot of processed stuff, a lot of pre-made soups, a lot of just easy soft foods, a lot of not very nutritional meals, which did end up affecting my health a little bit later, but it's not bad. It's just a routine I gotta get back on, which I'm back on. I'm back into doing better for myself, eating more nutritional meals, getting back in the gym, getting back to being active and stuff like that. My last surgery was at the end of April, so I'm almost 2 months fully post-surgery. And it's been great to be back to feeling more normal, more back to myself. That's just the physical stuff. Emotionally, there's been a lot of good. I wouldn't necessarily call what a lot of people would call bad bad. I wouldn't refer to it as that. I would refer to it as challenging. I was faced with a lot of dealing with things from my past, but in a way that meant I was growing, in a way that meant, oh, this is the next phase in life. This is where I really get to see how much healing I've done and what I still need to work on. That was a lot. There was a lot of sitting down with myself, a lot of having conversations, a lot of me having to ask myself the really tough questions and really sitting with what I was feeling, because we tend not to do that. We tend to just feel what we feel initially and then we run with it, generally speaking. Not everybody does this, but I just know from plenty of conversations with others and my own personal experience that that's something we humans as a whole generally tend to do. And so I decided I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to just react or take action on initial emotions. I had to sit there and talk it through. It's okay. We're not in danger. Let's talk about it though, because something's coming up for a reason. And some important conversations were happening, absolutely. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm getting 1 year older in the next couple of months. It really makes you reflect on how far you've come, where you're at, where your mind is at, where your heart's at, how you feel, like your position or what your position might be in the world. I went into this year with intentions of doing more, contributing more to the world, to helping people, to just doing more. I wanted to feel meaningful. I wanted to feel like I was on the path to my purpose. I wanted to feel like I was very aligned and I was doing things intentionally. That took a lot of reflecting this year. Last year was a very isolated year for me where I did a lot of reflecting on who I was and who I'm becoming. This year seems to be more reflecting on what are the kind of decisions I want to make, who's the kind of person I want to be. How do I want to show up every day? And I feel like I've been doing that. I'm not gonna lie, it was very challenging at first because I had a lot of questions, because I didn't know if I even had the answers to any of those questions. There was a lot of overthinking involved in which path is the right way and what do I do? What are people gonna think? It really made me have to slow things down and just, you know what? Just be here. Just make the best decisions you can make with the information that you have. Ask questions. Be present. Be kind. Be loving. Have grace for yourself and others to an extent. Don't lose your boundaries, but also communicate well to the point where people don't question where you are in life or who you are. They understand and they know that when you have something to say, you mean it and it matters and it's intentional and it weighs a lot. It weighs. There's weight to it. So with all that reflecting, I've just been outgrowing a lot of things, outgrowing a lot of people and behaviors. Even though I've been in that process a lot these last few years, I think the different phases that I'm experiencing is the first year I started realizing I was outgrowing people, I was holding on and it was painful. I think that last year started out that way and it's been a painful situation, even previous years before that. But right near the middle, closer to between the middle and the end of last year, that's when I feel like I started realizing, oh, holding on also doesn't really feel that good. But then going into this year, I feel like for me, it became, oh, this is what happens when you hold on. And this is what happens when you're aware of it, when you become aware. And ooh, I do not like it. And there were things that I was considering doing, conversations I was considering having. But you know what was the beautiful thing? I asked my Moldavite for some help because Moldavite is that girl. I don't know if you guys know how Moldavite works, but she does her thing. And I asked for some help and she helped. So there were some conversations that didn't need to happen, but results did come. Now I'm getting to a point where, well, I'm reading a lot of books, and the books that I'm reading at this time is very funny because they've been on my list for a while, but I think I wasn't reading them at the time when I made the list because I have this theory that every book that I read is always at the right time, especially if I finish it. That means it was the right time. If I don't finish it, it wasn't for me at that time. And I've been reading quite a bit of books. I've been reading some books that have been aligned with my journey and have either validated my experiences and the thoughts that I've been having. I think the books have been really making it clear where I am in life and how I want to do things and go about things from here on out. And one interesting thing that I feel like has been happening along or parallel to my healing journey and parallel to the growth is my place is also slowly changing. Right here, I'm sure you see things that still seem the same, but I'm starting to feel different about my place and things are starting to change. I feel like when I first moved here, everything was very bland. Then when I started to get comfortable, I started to slowly add some color, slowly. I still kept it quite neutral, but now since I feel just so excited about life and so open to experience, I feel like I've been adding a lot more color to the mix and I'm excited to add more color and just create a whimsical, romantic, cozy environment for myself when I come home and enjoy my space, or when I just want to have a night in. I want to know that I am so grateful and so excited and I feel so safe to be here. That's the kind of place that I've been creating this year specifically. So I mentioned that I have been learning a lot. There has been a lot of growth and I want to talk about those things. Some of you guys might be going through the same exact thing that I'm going through. We fall into our phases and have our different experiences, but sometimes, well, at different times, and sometimes we can help each other. Sometimes we can help each other not feel so alone and also help each other with some advice. Ooh, I just went through that. Here's how I handled it. Maybe this could help you, or maybe this will inspire you to customize your own way of handling things and it can work better for you. I've talked about boundaries so much on this channel, even though I don't have a lot of videos. I have talked about it a lot and I will say there are levels to it. I have experienced so many different levels and I will say I'm happy with the level that I'm at now. Right now, I am not worried about hurting somebody's feelings. I worry about that a lot. That's something that really matters a lot to me, but it's just because I used to associate with how I'm made, because you get to choose how you feel, how I made somebody feel as an indication of what kind of person I was. And I don't believe that to be true at all. I believe how somebody feels is an indication of where they are in their journey in life. And I do believe maybe the way I speak or the way I address something could indicate where I am in my life, where I am on my journey. But if I'm just expressing something that is hard by itself without tone, without extra emotion behind it, it is what it is. It's a harsh thing to talk about. It's something to say. I'm really good at wording things usually, but sometimes it's going to get to the point where it's like, all right, listen. I have gotten to the point where I'm not really afraid to hurt your feelings. If I care about you, I'm gonna let you know something. And if you're draining me, I'm gonna let you know something. Or I'm gonna act in a certain way and it's just gonna be about protecting my peace. Our conversations won't be as long as they used to be. I'll try to redirect the conversation, or I'll ask you a question that might throw you off but also make you think about, why am I even doing this? I'm gonna do things a little bit more aggressively in that way versus just letting you suck all my energy dry. Because I used to do that. Or I used to just pretend I was listening so that I could just be there and be the friend or family member that I needed. But at this point now, I can't do it anymore. I paid my dues. Even though there aren't dues that need to be paid, I paid them though, plus tax. I am very heavy on living intentionally every day. There are some days where I don't get to live as intentional as I'd like to, but I make it up in the decisions or the limited decisions I am allowed to make that day. And I try to be extra intentional in those decisions that I have to make when I'm working, when I'm doing a task, and I have a very limited environment that I'm working in. I just make sure those decisions are very intentional. And then when I'm on my days off, I make sure those decisions are very intentional and what I spend my time with. And just to make sure I divvy up my time to focus on all the things I want to focus on. And lately, because of how well I'm doing with TaskRabbit and how I'm getting to a point with the coaching where I can absolutely launch and tell people about it and help people starting now, I know I don't have to wait And I'm not waiting until I'm fully capable of launching. I just wanted to make sure I at least had some of the tiers just to be able to offer things to everybody. So, because I know I'm going to be constantly building this. This is not going to be finished right away. And it's going to be ever evolving. As of lately, I've been trying to add more fun into my life when it comes to my days off, and I've been trying to let things be what they are. I've done a lot of controlling in my life, and I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't find it fun. I don't find it relieving in any way, shape, or form. I don't like the pressure that it comes with. I'd rather let things be what they are. Not per se go with the flow, because I do feel like there is some involvement that needs to be had. I'm just fully aware that I can't control anyone. There's a lot in life that I can't control except for the decisions that I make, which is why for me I want to live intentionally. I want to make sure that I am involved in every decision I make in the day. I want to make sure that it is the decision I'm going to be happy with. I'm okay with whatever outcome comes out of it because this was a decision that I made intentionally, if that makes sense. Building the coaching and doing the TaskRabbit and all the other things that I'm doing, I'm learning a lot about how much consistency is necessary. I'm learning a lot about how much patience and how much discipline. And I'm also learning how to tap in to different focuses and different balls of energy that are in my body. Because if you've never read Untethered Soul, that is a book I recommend to read. It made me quite aware of excuses that I've made for myself and excuses that I've allowed to dictate my abilities, my limits. I'm limitless. There's nothing I can't do that I want to do. I'm definitely realizing that choosing yourself is going to cost you a lot of friends. There are people that I do not speak to. No ill intentions towards them, but there's a reason why we don't associate with each other. I like people who feel safe. I like people who take accountability. I like people who want to be better. And those are definitely some of the requirements that I require to be in my life. I've done a lot of being patient with people. I've done a lot of, I don't even want to say helping people. I've done a lot of doing for people, picking up where they lack. I love who I am, and I love that I've done that, but it's not happening anymore. There's definitely a truth factor that comes when you're building something great and big and you're trying to impact the world, and there's some truths that you have to deal with. There's some honest conversations that need to be had, and it doesn't necessarily mean with other people. Sometimes it's with yourself. Sometimes you have to sit there and be like, you know what? As much as you care for this person, it's just not worth it. As much as you want to see them be amazing and successful in the way that they can be, and the way that you hope that they can see themselves being, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped, and that's just it. You have got to respect the fact that they don't want it. It doesn't matter how little help you're giving. To you, it could be something small, but to them, it could be changing their whole routine, and they just don't like it. And it's not for you to push, it's not for you to care, it's not for you can't do anything that somebody doesn't want to accept it. It's okay. You just have to be okay with that. And that's something that I feel like I've tried to receive that before, and it's been really hard, but for some reason this year, it's been one of the easiest things I could do. Everything became clear this year. Oh, that's how you're choosing to stay. Got it. All right, cool. Not around here. I'm not doing it. And I did a lot of that talking before. Sometimes I followed through, and sometimes I needed a little bit more time, but not these last 6 months. It's sure been great. It's been real peaceful. The only turmoil I've experienced is just having to rewire my brain in some of the ways that trauma kept coming up. That's it. That's pretty much the most challenging. It was all me challenging. It had nothing to do with other people, really. I love myself a lot. I think I'm an awesome person. I think that I have so much potential. There's definitely a big, incredible thing I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to help people. It makes me happy to do so. It makes me feel aligned. I just want to experience life so much. I don't want to be sad or mad and waste precious time on things that just don't matter. I believe it's just so not worth fretting over the mundane stuff, the little things. I just don't feel the need anymore. I care about important stuff now. My mission is too big. You got it though. If you want it, you got it. Realizing that I'm not supposed to fit in. I've known this. I've always known this. And I feel like those who feel the same way, you've always known this. It's hard to accept because it always seemed like everybody wanted to fit in. It always seemed like people were loved more when they were alike or when they were similar or when they blended in, but not in the way where they became just a shadow of other people, just in the way where it's like, oh, we all look good together. This feels right. Or, oh, we're vibing the same. I don't need that to know that I am loved or to know that I'm awesome anymore. I'm okay with being a lone wolf if I need to be. But I'm also okay with being somebody that meets a lot of people and gets along with a lot of people just because I'm just here to live. I'm here to experience life. I have one life to experience and I don't want to bother with anything else. I am open to feeling all the feelings. I want to feel them, understand them, accept them, learn from them. I don't want to ruminate, let them consume me and change who I am. When I look at a lot of people, the general public, a lot of people are not okay. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to not be okay. That's a very human thing, absolutely. And I'm not knocking it. Once I understood that I get to choose how I live, I changed how I live. Yes, sometimes we don't get to choose, so please do not come for me and be like, well, some of us don't get to choose. There are different variations. We're not talking about the ones that are out of your control, but we are talking about the moments where emotional intelligence and emotional regulation is necessary in order to have mature situations, in order to come to solutions and not get violent or aggressive, things like that. I don't need to go into that. You're all very wise and very smart, so I don't need to explain much of that. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. If you feel like you're not meant to fit in, you're not. Accept it. Love yourself. Explore who you are because you're clearly someone magical. I'm not going to make a promise that I'm going to be consistent, but I will make a promise that I'm going to try my best. I will make a promise that I am going to be intentional with putting out videos. I will make a promise that I will soon figure out a method that's going to make this easier for me so I can show up in the way that I feel like I need to. I also have a free ebook. You guys can get it. I'll put in the link down there. And that's basically a clarity reset guide where if you're dealing with a lot of overwhelm, I'm there asking you questions that are supposed to help you get clarity in what steps you want to take in life. Your next steps for what you're doing and what you're feeling right now, how you want to go about things. And by the end of it, it's supposed to help you figure that out or at least get an inkling just to create some clarity, because when there's overwhelm, a lot of us want to just go and talk to somebody and sometimes we don't have that. And so I created this for the times when you may not have somebody, nobody's available, and you just need somebody to talk to or you need somebody to ask you the questions. And these are the questions. It's kind of deep, so take your time with it, but it is free. And please send me over some feedback. I would love to hear how it may have helped you. If you think it wasn't helpful to you, please explain to me how. I'm here for all the feedback. I do have a poetry book out. It is my memoir, my life story. This is not to ask for pity or anything. Life wasn't the easiest for me, but I feel like I've pulled through. I am a warrior. I've done amazing in life. I wanted to share that for those who feel like they've had a hard life and they don't feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel or they don't feel like anything's gonna get better. That book is for you. That was my way of owning my story, letting people know that they're not alone. You can change your mind at any second. You can change your life at any second. It does not have to be what it is. Your past does not have to define who you are. And I will link the poetry book down below as well if you guys want to check it out. Impact is the ultimate mission.